Hello, my name's Annika and welcome to the Sewing Nook. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this super simple wallet. Start by making a slip knot from the main color of thread that you want and then chain until it measures 9 inches. Once it measures 9 inches, start crocheting back and forth. Do this by going into the top loop, grabbing some yarn, coming back, pulling yarn through both hoops, and then going into the next top hoop, pulling yarn through, pulling the yarn through both hoops, and then continue doing this till you get to the end. One thing I want to mention is you want to be careful that you don't go back into that large hole because you've already crocheted in that. You want to go into the next one. Once you get to the very end, making sure that you go through that last loop, chain stitch 1, and then turn it around and start going under both hoops. And pull the yarn through and go through both. Same thing that we were doing, except you're going under 2 loops. Do that until the end and then chain stitch, turn it around, and do the exact same thing over and over until it measures 8 3/4 of an inch. Alright, now to get that curve at the top, we're going to start skipping a stitch. So rather going into that one, you're going to go into the second one and do the exact same thing across, except once you get to the end, don't do the second from the last. Skip that one and do the last one. Chain 1 and turn it around. And then remember, skip the first one and go into the second one, and then do a few stitches. Then fold it in half and place a marker right at the middle point. Crochet until you're about 1 stitch away from the marker, and then chain, making sure that they're pretty loose, 2 chains, and then go over the marker into the stitch after it. So you're going over 3 stitches. Crochet into the end, making sure you still take away a stitch, and then chain, turn it around, skip the first one, go into the second one, and then chain across the entire thing. Going over that chain part that we made can be a little finicky, but I found it's easier to just put the hook through the bottom hoop, so just one, because then it makes it also going under the 2 hoops, if that makes any sense. And then do that on all 3, and then crochet to the end, still removing that stitch. Once you finish that row, chain 1 and then pull the yarn through and then weave that side in. After you do that, weave in the tail from where you first started. Alright, now you're going to need 2 pins and a $1 bill. I just used this piece of paper, but it's the same size. And you're going to fold the bottom up above it, and I did mine a little bit higher than it. And then you're going to place the 2 pins, one on each side, to hold it in place. Now to do the trim around the entire thing, start by taking some contrasting yarn. I decided to use white, and put your crochet hook through the bottom right corner and pull some of the yarn through, and then tie it in a knot. To do the stitch, go back into that hole where you just tied the yarn, pull some thread through, chain 1, go back into the stitch, pull yarn through the first hoop, and then pull yarn through both hoops. Then go into the next hole and pull some yarn through, and then pull yarn through the first hoop, and then through the second hoop. And keep repeating this till you work your way all the way around. Also, I'm not a professional crocheter, so forgive me for not knowing all of the right words and names for the stitches. Once you get to the last stitch, do like we were doing, and then chain 1. Then cut the yarn and pull it through. Weave in both of the tails from where you started and where you finished. I'm using one of my smaller crochet hooks to help me do this. And your wallet should be looking something like this. Now all we have left to do is sew on the button. This is the one I'll be using for this project. I'm just using some regular thread. You could use the same colored yarn if you want to. I just folded it over and then pressed my finger down where the hole was to mark where the button needs to go. And then I just go back and forth a couple of times until it feels secure, and then tie off the thread and cut it. And now your crocheted wallet is complete. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and thank you so much for watching.